I'll tell anybody, I've heard my mom and my dad talk about when they lost their parents, which was rough on us kids. We loved our grandparents, but and then when they lost, their parents, they talked about how hard it was, and we just kind of shrugged it off, and you really don't know how hard it is until it happens to you, So it's pretty tough.
And now, your host, comedian William Lee Martin.
And welcome into a brand new edition of Red Dirt Comedy. My guest today is none other than singer-songwriter, Texas legend, Aaron Copeland. Aaron, first of all, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, man. We start out every podcast with the same question. With this one question, since it is a comedy podcast, who or what makes you laugh, and why?
Do you want to go like classic laughter? I would say flagellants.
So farts.
No
kidding.
Yeah. I'm like a 12-year-old and a 30-year-old, body. But I everything makes me laugh. I try to be a happy guy. And I think the dumbest things are funny. People falling,
Yeah, there's two kinds of people out there: the people that laugh at somebody who falls, and people who laugh and then go try to help them.
That's me. I'll go help them out. I don't know, the reels and stuff that come about. I like the dad jokes. There's two guys on the front porch telling dad jokes and back and forth, and just stupid stuff makes me laugh.
Now, you brought up a great subject because you started out music with your dad.
I did.
Yeah.
I sure did. Yeah, rest his soul. We lost him in October, but my dad, before I was born, he was writing music in Nashville and playing. They had circuits back then. They'd go play hotels and stuff like that, and then he landed a gig with Joe Diffie.
No kidding.
So he was with Joe for 12 years, and then he wasn't with Joe when I was born. I have an older brother, which he's awesome. He's just retired Marine Corps.
Okay.
And my dad got off the road right before I was born, right? 86, 87. So, yeah, and then just kind of picked it up. It's kind of in our soul, our bones.
Well, I saw on Facebook that your dad passed away in October.
Yeah.
Was it sudden or?
He had been battling. My dad's old school, and he got bit by a brown recluse. And so we kept telling him to go to the doctor, and he wouldn't go to the doctor. And then he got cellulitis. That's infection in the bones. And so it ate his legs up. And this is a little much, but it just kind of happened. He wasn't in the best health, heart disease and stuff like that. But anyways, it got so bad on one leg after them treating it, scraping it. He looked like a burn victim on his legs. I told you it's a lot. But so they went to amputated one leg. And then a couple weeks later, they were putting him under to amputate the other leg. And when they put him under is when he passed. So he went peacefully.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, I didn't, that's the thing about this thing that we want to do here is that we just kind of unfold stuff and see where things go. Now, have you really written about it now?
I haven't. I can just now talk about it.
Yeah, it's pretty fresh.
Yeah, it's, I'll tell anybody, I've heard my mom and my dad talk about when they lost their parents, which was rough on us kids, we loved our grandparents, but, and then when they lost, their parents, they talked about how hard it was, and we just kind of shrugged it off, and you really don't know, how hard it is until it happens to you, so it's pretty tough.
Was your mom and dad always together?
No, I got 2 Christmases growing up.
Oh, did you?
I'm lucky. I have a stepdad. I don't call him stepdad. I call him dad, and he's been in my life since I was 7, so 30 years. So do the math. That's how old I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, did your folks live anywhere near each other? Off and on.
My dad's family is in East Texas, so I grew up 2 places.
All right.
I grew up on my dad's side of the family in the summer times, because they split custody, and so a little town called Maud, which is right outside of New Boston.
Okay.
A little bitty town, red dirt roads, piney woods. I love it out there. And then my mom's family's from Lubbock, but when they were married, they were in Corsicana. That's where I graduated.
Right.
And then so my dad lived there for a little bit, and then he ended up moving to Sherman area, and he had been there for the last 15 years or so. So.
Wow. So you grew up in a divorced home.
Oh yeah.
Back and forth. When did Dad introduce you to the guitar, or who introduced you?
Piano.
Piano.
I'm a piano player first.
Really?
So a lot of people forget I was on the road with Casey Donahue for about 9 years, playing keys and guitar and singing harmonies, but mostly keys. So all the Jerry Lee Lewis style piano playing you hear on those records,
Sure.
that's me.
That's you.
I play like that. Yeah, I'm a stride player. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah.
So
anybody who's seen the Ray Charles story knows how.
Yeah, stride playing. That's what it is, and that's what I grew up listening to. I loved it. Jerry Lee Lewis was my hero. Till I grew up and realized what an a-hole he was.
Well, I opened for Jerry Lee twice at the Cotillion.
I call it Looney Tune Land, the way the stage looks.
Well, so the Cotillion in Wichita, Kansas. Yeah, and so it was something. So they bring in a comic, to open for him, and we share a dressing room there at the Cotillion because I think there's only one dressing room anyway. And I'm there backstage, and when he walks in, he literally looked like he was dead. Right? Like, and I hate to bring this up because we just talked about your dad.
No, it's fine.
But
when it's part of life.
When you see a body in a casket and they've got too much makeup on him, that's the way he looked. And he walked in and he goes, "Hello, son." And he stuck his hand out and I shook his hand. And they said, "You're on, kid." And so I go on out there, and on my way on to the boards, I'm like, this is going to be the worst concert ever. Because he literally he said, "How you doing, Sean?" And I said, "Mr. Lewis, I'm your opening act tonight. I'm Cowboy Bill Martin." And he goes, "Have a good show." And then he literally just sat and he stared just off in space, sitting straight up, hands, I thought, this is going to suck. and I guess the reason why they hire a stand-up comedian is because somebody from William Morris, the agency, comes in with one of those big things and stuck it in his back and go click, 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 click to wind him up because nobody's got the balls enough to tell him that he's been dead for 8 years. Now, you've been playing professionally your entire life,
for a long
right?
time, yeah.
Now, did you ever go get a quote on? I hate when people say a real job.
Real job, yeah, because I was like, "You want to see my tax bracket?" I don't think you do. It's a real job. Man, during COVID, I did some things. My job is I write songs. That's what I tell everybody. I'm a songwriter. That's what I do. That's where I get most of my income from, through the mailbox, which is, T-shirts. We're in the T-shirt business. Let's be real. But during COVID, I went and sold some cars for a buddy of mine down at Classic Chevrolet in Cleburne. Shout out. It's one of my sponsors. And then, I piddle-paddled. I started a lawn care company when I first left Casey to start my own business, and so I was waiting tables and then started a lawn care company, and I would do residential, and I had about 40-something yards, and then music started picking up, and then I sold those 40-something yards for quite a bit of change. So just kind of figured out, during COVID, we, nobody could work, and nobody's really buying crazy cars. You might sell one or two a month to people that have a lot of money. But when you're in our line of work, it's like, well, nothing's coming in and more's going out because I was still paying my guys.
Right.
And so I would do stuff like this, but I would do concerts, where people could talk. We'd talk to them, and then I'd request it, just like I was sitting on a stage, but I'd be at home under a camera and the whole Venmo and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Which we did a lot of money, and then we gave a lot of money back to some folks too. So it was a weird time then, but real job. Last real job I had was in high school. I worked overnight. I played baseball, but I worked overnight stocking groceries at Walmart.
Okay.
So I would work all night, go to school, and sleep at school.
Yeah, no,
how I passed, I don't know.
Now, for you, with touring and everything else, I saw that you've done, you just went to Ireland.
So I put together an Ireland trip with some of my closest. And if you would have come with us next year, we've used some comedy, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's fun.
And so what I did, because just as well as I do, everybody in the entertainment business doesn't really have, I want to put this in the right way. About 75% of them they're not very business savvy.
Oh, yeah.
They live paycheck to paycheck and go gig to gig, and that's how they survive. How they do that, I don't know. More power to them. I don't like living that way. So being the business savvy guy that I am, I was like, okay, we're going to do an Ireland trip now, because the people who have done it in the past, no offense, it was crap.
Right.
It's terrible. None of the venues that we were supposed to play knew we were going to be there and stuff like that. I'm like, great. So you just took all of our money,
Right.
all of my people's money that wanted to come watch me play in Ireland, and we don't even get to play. Awesome. Good job. So anyways, being the business savvy guy that I am, I'm like, okay, well, we can actually make this a thing, which I'm sure the other people wanted to do that. But anyway, so some of my closest friends in the music business, guys that I adore, and just absolutely cherish, are going to go with me to Ireland, and we got their trips paid for. They don't have to pay anything to be there. Just play music, enjoy the country for 7 days. And then I got lucky. I met a lady at Green Hall over the summer. I headlined my first Green Hall gig, and met a lady named Sarah, and she is from Switzerland. And she said, hey, I book in Switzerland. After your Ireland trip, would you like to fly to Switzerland and play for a week and make money? I said, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely, I'm in. She said, well, it's not a lot of money. I was like, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, I have a band that's going to learn your music, so you don't have to fly your band there. And you're probably going to make about 600 to 700 euros a gig. And you got gigs for 6 days straight. I'm like, euros are more than the dollar. Okay, and then it cost me this much to survive. I do drink a little bit. I'm like, I might come out of this deal winning, and I get to go to Switzerland and not pay a thing.
That's great, man.
So, yeah, I'm in. Let's go.
That's great.
Absolutely.
I always tell, especially young artists, I'm like, dude, 30 turns into 60 in a blink of an eye.
So fast.
In a blink of an eye. And then suddenly you're like, what did I do with the, oh yeah, I was drunk and high and
Yeah.
and I've dated my fair share of comedy club waitresses in my day. And a friend of mine, a headliner when I started out, her name's Janine Gardner. She goes, what is it with you boys and a girl with a tray? I'm like, I've got to write that
Sounds
song.
like a country song.
I know. What is it? Two boys and a girl with a tray.
That's awesome.
So I'd like to, I almost feel like I'm Ricky Bobby. That is property of William Lee Martin and the Brady.
Right. It's like the old Ronnie Millsap song, The Girl Who Waits on Tables Used to Wait on Me at Home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song. Kind of the same thing,
The one song I never understood by Ronnie Millsap, there's a stranger in my house.
He's blind.
Somebody I can't see.
Yeah.
You can't see nobody, Ronnie.
It's one of the oldest jokes in the books. Like, you ever seen Ronnie Millsap's house? They're like, It's like, neither is he.
Yeah. So you started touring pretty early at 20, playing at 20.
Yeah, well, my bio, it could go more in depth and be a couple pages, but I was playing music in high school and touring, sometimes missing school. Like, I got truancy my junior and senior year because I missed so much school because we were playing gigs. Boy, my mom was pissed.
Which would you rather do? Would you rather be the front guy, or would you rather be the guy back behind the front guy playing the keyboard?
And be honest with you,
Sure.
sometimes I want to be both.
Okay.
Just depends on what mood I'm in. There's a lot of baggage comes with being the boss,
Absolutely.
And I tell my guys, they respect me a lot. I mean, they do call me boss sometimes, but I'm not like that because I was once in their shoes. I still am in their shoes. I mean, musician first.
Yeah.
That became a songwriter, that became a singer. So there's some days I just want to sit behind somebody and play guitar or piano. And then there's some days I'm like, watch this. So it just depends, but most days I like getting out. I mean, I love it, obviously, or I wouldn't still be doing it, but I love getting out there and just hearing people sing the songs that I put my heart and soul into, on paper.
Now, as a songwriter, and I fancy myself as a lyrist, but as a songwriter, is there a line that you've written that you're like, all right, you know what, they could put that one on my tombstone?
Man, there's there's a song. I got a brand new record coming out at the end of the year that I recorded in Nashville. I wrote all the songs on it, but one. I recorded it with Trent Willman, great producer, great writer. And we wrote a song, me, him, and Tommy Connors wrote a song called Forever. That's probably my favorite on the record. And it's my first waltz that I've ever written. In the music business, we call that a 6/8. That's the timing, you know. Those of you that were wondering.
Or 3/4.
Or 3/4,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So anyways, we went into the writing room. We were out in the old RCA building where Elvis was signed, stuff like that. So the history there, you're like, whoa. And I had the word forever on my mind. We were trying to come up with ideas and melodies. And so I think on my tombstone, obviously the song's about a breakup, but I think it'd be cool on a tombstone that I thought forever was longer than that.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's a great line.
Pretty good stuff. My dad, I also have another song called Baby Needs Some Neon that my dad loved forever. There's a line in there that says, that drop dead smile and those baby blues, talking about her smile in her eyes, and it just always lit him up. He's like, man, that's such a good song. I'm like, thank you. And it's country.
Yeah, I wrote a song once with Kyle Level and David Banning. Both
Yeah,
local.
those are my guys. I've written some songs with those guys.
Yeah,
Pete's Piano Bar.
Yeah, absolutely. And we wrote a song called "You Make Me Want to Drink," but it's a love song, really. It's about wanting to go on vacation with a girl. But the opening line I wrote, and they obviously put it in the song, but it's 3 days from the weekend. I'm already thinking this week's been 3 days too long.
That's pretty money.
That's better than saying it's a shitty Wednesday.
There you go. Yeah, we got one I'm about to release probably in the next couple of weeks. A single. It's the hook is "You ain't got a broken heart until it bleeds."
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's pretty deep.
Yeah,
yeah. It's it references. It's definitely something different that I wrote. I mean, like the chorus, like blonde hair, blue eyed, razor blade, smiles and opens up your veins, rattles you like a ghost in chains that haunts you in your dreams.
See, I dig that. The other day I was listening to modern country. You know, I was in a rent-a-car that didn't have Sirius XM, so I could only get 2 stations driving through the middle of the country, and 4 hours of the same song.
It's tailgates, pickups.
Well, now they've gone apparently away from that to whiny guys breaking up with a girl who are drunk enough to call her now.
Yeah, I see that.
That's
a lot. It's just the same. It's like there's no originality to it.
Well, that's why, you know, and I brought this up before on the show, is that I tell young comics, report the funny, you know, be a good reporter.
Yeah.
Write your story. I do it more for therapy than I do for anything else.
Yeah,
so I've been writing since I was 5.
Yeah.
Is there a song that you've written that you're like, that the fans just love, and you're like, why do y'all love this song?
Yeah. You said it earlier. I have a song called Drunk as Hell.
Yeah.
That I wrote. We were making fun of all the bro country and stuff that was coming out. I was still with Casey when I wrote that song. And I tell everybody, it's a true story. I wrote this song with a professional football player buddy of mine. He played for UT and went on to play with the Bills, and since now retired. And then also another buddy of mine that broke his front tooth eating beef jerky, and still lived with his parents, and he went without a front tooth for like 6 or 7 years. I'm like, bro, and he does HVAC work, so I'm like, you make enough money, go get your freaking tooth fixed, man. You look like a hillbilly. Anyway, so we're sitting in the garage and drinking Crown Apple, which is disgusting, by the way. I love Crown. Anyways, and we wrote this song, and basically about where I grew up and how I grew up, and with bonfires and Keystone Light and Boone's Farm Wine, and
right.
just kind of that high school vibe, because try to bring it back, but it's still kind of bro country lyrics, but you're like, nah, this dude's a redneck,
Right.
But it's got a Waylon vibe to it.
No kidding.
People love it.
And you hate it.
Can't stand it. Can't stand it. But it's fun though because we'll play it, and then towards the end of the song, I'll go into David Allan Coe, The Ride, and then everybody's like, yes.
So, what's the song though that you must play?
Song I must play. Man, there's a couple of them that were big hits for us. I have to play a song called Rain. It was our first big hit. It's our first song that got over 1 million streams. And it's a love song. I always wonder how many babies are made to that song, you know.
Awesome.
It's the one that a buddy of mine from East Texas wrote, and I kind of jumped in and kind of redid it. I like this is legit. It has potential, but let me put a little more sauce on it. You know what I mean? And it turned
So
into
you wrote a word and got a third?
Yeah, pretty much. And the music, you know, redid the music. But no, he's a fantastic singer-songwriter. He doesn't do it anymore, but anyways, it's called Rain. It's a love song. We got a really crappy video out there on YouTube if you want to go watch it from years back. And yeah, you know, you evolve, you grow, you know, through your business. You ever go back years before and go, God, that was terrible?
Yeah, but you know, the difference with stand-up is that I've gone back and looked at stuff and realized the bit is still valid if I knew how to deliver it better. And now that I do, you know, I'm able to dust off some stuff from 25 years ago, and it still becomes relevant again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because there wasn't a need back then to put everything online because there was no online. I mean, when I started, MySpace was the number one thing out there.
I still say that on stage, like, y'all go follow me on MySpace. They're like, what?
Absolutely. Kids don't know, but hey, you had to have your own wall.
You could decorate it, put whatever songs you wanted to. Have your top friends.
Yes, right.
You ever have a girlfriend? You're like, why am I not your number one anymore? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Because I had to put my mom up there and make her feel special, honey.
Yeah, so some of that stuff, I'm like, hey, that stuff's never been seen, you know.
Yeah.
So talking about, you know, I just update it because, you know, I made great decisions in my life. That's why my kids are 40 down to 20, you know. So some of the stuff on the 20-year-old is actually about the 40-year-old. I just made her younger in the bit. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always been one thing with me is like with my family, like joke telling's a real deal. You know, it's like a lost art, you know, just sitting around the porch and telling jokes. But, you know, my dad could tell a joke about a hair lip guy and it'd be absolutely hilarious. And then now that my dad's gone, my older brother was trying to tell that joke, you know, while we were eating dinner after his funeral. I'm like, it's funny when Dad told it, you know, like delivery, you got to deliver it the right way.
That's funny, calling your brother a hack at your dad's funeral.
Yeah.
But one of the funniest guys I knew joke telling was my Uncle Leon.
Yeah.
My Uncle Leon would tell a story like it happened to him. And then later on, you find out that's just an old ass joke that he told.
Yeah. I know some here. You said Leon?
Uncle Leon.
My dad's middle name was Leon. Ezra Leon. They called him Bubba.
Well, that's it just rolled off the tongue. As a matter of fact, those same guys, Kyle and David and I. Actually, I wrote it with David and his son Bradley Banning.
Yeah,
a song called "Enjoy the Ride," and it was based on what my Uncle Leon told me. Now, my Uncle Leon taught me how to ride and rope, probably when I was 9 or 10 years old. My father wouldn't teach me because my father had no patience for kids on anything, and God rest his soul too, but he had none. He literally, if you helped him work on the house, he expected you at 10 years old to be, you know, a grade level carpenter, you know, and no teaching. But my Uncle Leon's the one that taught me truly how to ride and rope. But he had this huge horse named Jock. And Jock would run you through along the side of the fence, barbed wire fence, to get you off of him. You know, he wanted you off of him.
Yeah.
And he threw me. And my Uncle Leon picked me up, and he told me, he said, if you ride long enough, And I ended up writing it down because I was a writer even as a kid. I wrote short stories and stuff. And I used to carry it in my pocket. If you ride long enough, you're going to get thrown. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, act like you never been thrown at all, and then get back on and enjoy the ride. And we turned that into a song.
Very cool.
But yeah, it's I think there's something to be said about that.
Absolutely.
I think what happens too many times right now with kids is that we don't let them dust themselves off. That's what he said. Yeah. He didn't say, I'm going to dust you off and I'm going to shoot that damn horse and get you, that'd be a different song.
Yeah, just because he made you cry. Right. Yeah, we're going to call it 2025. Everybody's so soft now.
Now we'll do the rewrite.
Yeah.
And so there's that, everything happens in a pendulum, and I just figured that eventually we're going to get back to, hey, get yourself up, dust yourself off.
We can hope so.
Well, my oldest daughter and my son-in-law, they raised my two grandsons feral. These boys, but I think they're going to be okay surviving.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. And I maybe that's what your father, instilled you with the two. Now your stepdad, who you also call Dad.
Great.
Now, was he a musician at all?
No, he's a businessman. He owned one of the biggest office supply businesses in the Navarre County.
Okay.
So it's called CTBM.
All right. And, are they also your sponsor?
No, they sold the business.
Okay.
Yeah, they're retired now. They sold the building and sold the business, and so he would do like printers and fix computers and stuff like for all the schools and stuff like that. So it was like a pretty top-notch business, pens and pencils and paper and notebooks and things that offices needed, furniture. So that's what they did.
Well, if you could do one collab with one person, who would it be?
A collab?
Yeah.
Like songwriters?
Yeah. Collaboration.
I say, because I'd like to sit with you and tell you some of my jokes.
No, no, go for it.
I'm kidding. Man, there's a couple artists out there today that I absolutely admire, and they're friends of mine. I wouldn't mind, when it's been talked about, I had an artist on my songwriting series on Mondays. His name's Randall King. Brother of mine. And we've been talking about doing something like that. Kojo's one of my favorites. Been knowing him since he was playing 4-hour sets of George Strait music, before Kojo was Kojo. And I wouldn't mind doing one with him, but he sings too good for me. But that dude could sing the phone book, and I'd listen to it, Man, George.
Yeah.
Wish Merle was still alive. I do want him.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how many artists don't know 4 Merle Haggard songs?
I could sit down and play 3 hours of Merle Haggard music. Yeah. That's the way I grew up.
Yeah, amen.
And crazy thing is, I sit down with some of these guys that have been in the business way longer than I have, and they're like, oh, this young buck, and I've never played with them before, and all of a sudden they're like, they got my respect now because let's have a Merle Haggard off. That's what they call it. Okay, you go first. Yeah. And then I'll start playing B-side stuff, and then they're like, hold up, how do you know that?
Yeah.
I'm like, you should have met my dad.
Well, I always wanted to say that, when they do these interviews with these Nashville artists, and they always ask them the same thing, who's your inspiration?
It's always the 90s country artist, Garth Brooks or George Strait.
Yeah, or they'll put Merle in there, because the A&R person has told them to say
Merle Haggard.
And told them to Google it on the way to the interview.
Yeah.
Right? I always wanted to be in that interview and go, okay, name me your 4th favorite Merle Haggard song. I mean, let's take Whiskey and Gin out,
Misery.
Yeah.
Misery and Gin.
Misery and Gin.
Yeah.
What did I say? Whiskey and Gin?
Whiskey and Gin.
Yeah. Let's take Mama Tried.
Mama Tried.
Working
Man's Blues.
Give me
Stay Here and Drink.
Since he was such an inspiration, what's the 4th one? And then what?
I would probably say George Cut It. It was a B-side for me. Well, there's 2 of them that come to mind. All in the Movies.
Oh, yeah.
Or Tell Me Something Bad About Tulsa.
Yeah. Now, All in the Movies wasn't a B-side, was it?
I don't think it was a big hit.
It was released. Yeah, it was a big hit.
I know Tell Me Something Bad About Tulsa was a B-side.
Yeah.
Or If I Could Only Fly is a great one too.
Yeah.
You know, so you go on for days, but Merle's a man.
I played drums in school and music scholarship in the band. I played with, do you know William Wallace?
Yeah.
I played with his uncle.
The guy from Braveheart, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Jeff Wallace Band. I played in the Jeff Wallace Band. I played at the old rig.
Yeah, that burned down.
Yeah.
Just north of Burleson.
Yeah, and coming into Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And the first song I ever played on a kit in front of people that wasn't in marching band or concert band, but an actual honky tonk band.
Yeah.
Was Silver Wings. And with Jeff Wallace.
There you go.
So
I always tell my drummer, you know the difference between a drummer and a large pizza is?
No.
A large pizza can feed a family of 4.
I heard that about the bass player, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't do drummer jokes here, mister.
Oh, sorry.
What's the difference between a banjo and a trampoline?
What's that?
Nobody gets upset if you jump on the trampoline. Nobody gets upset if you jump on the banjo and not take off your shoes.
I want to use that one. That's awesome. Yeah, man. I never went to that place. My buddy, my best friend in the world, Jesse Jennings. I don't know if you know him or not. Great singer, great songwriter. Was telling me about that place. He's the first one that took me into Hoots years ago when it was still smoking. And, and so I always asked him, I was like, how's that place? He goes, man, that place used to be popping back in the day. You know?
It was. And Jeff's band was the house band.
Yeah. They do 3 nights a week there, 4 nights a week.
And they had a buffet salad.
Yeah.
So you're
all
playing.
You can eat skirt steaks.
God, that had to be 83? 84?
We used to play Cowboy. It reminded me of this. We used to play Cowboys in San Antonio. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Oh, yeah.
The 3-tier stage, it's hydraulics and stuff, and there was a strip club in the parking lot, and they had advertised Friday night, all you can eat steak and salad. I'm like, at a strip club? You got to be really hungry, man.
Well, the lunch specials are good. Excuse me, one's got a her in it.
Oh, God. Yeah, you really got to be hungry for 2 things. To go eat steak at a strip club.
So before we wrap up, my favorite question to ask people is based on my catchphrase. I now have a catchphrase that I look for, and the catchphrase is "seems smart at the time," because I think everything that we do in life, you can point to and go, "Golly, looks back and it's dumb now, but boy, it seemed smart at the time."
Yeah.
It can be personal. It can be professional. What seems smart at the time? Well,
this whole business I've been doing, people said it wasn't smart, but I seem to make it work. Man, one thing that comes to my mind, we were in Pawhuska, Oklahoma at a PRCA rodeo, and I was with Casey. And Casey can ride and rope, and our bass player, we called him Cowboy Steve Stone. He shot horses his whole life and owns a boys ranch now. But anyway, so they got us into this wild cow milking, and I know how to ride. I don't rope. Too scared to lose my fingers.
Amen.
And
10 digits.
Yeah. And so they got us into this wild cow milking, and so, hauled our horses up there. I didn't have a horse, obviously. I lived in the city, but so we did that. But before that, the guys on the bus were like, hey, especially Steve, he's like, you about the bull riding size? I said, I've never been on a bull. We raised Brahma bulls, my papa.
Yeah.
I knew all about them, but, I'm like, he goes, everybody on this bus, there's 12 dudes on this bus, going to pitch in $100 if you cover a bull 8 seconds. Of course, I had to think about it. I'm like, I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm like, you know what? You're on. So they put me on a bull, and for this giant rodeo, and everybody's going crazy. I borrowed some dude's gear, helmet smelled like somebody's armpit. And so I rode the bull for 7 seconds. Yeah. And then it started twisting on me. I fell in the well. And so the next year, they're like, hey, we played the same rodeo, did the wild cow milking and stuff like that. My job on the wild cow milking was to jump off the horse, milk the cow, jump back on the horse, and run across the finish line. It was a race.
Right.
Anyways, so they put me on a bull. Well, they put me on the rankest bull. They kind of pissed Casey and Steve off because the other bull, like, they had just pulled out of the trailer for me to ride.
Right.
I mean, it was still bucking. Like, it bucked good enough that they put it back in the circuit. Anyways, I drew first one out of the gate. Yeah, like, they were considering me like a bull rider. I'm like, well, I jump on that sucker. And I'm like, here we go. I get on this bull and I can feel this sucker just, I mean, once you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell did I just do? And they pulled I shook my head, they pulled the gate, and about 1 second later, I'd been stepped on 4 times. I still have nerve damage in my groin. Wow. And almost lost my boys. And I remember it ripped my pants. And Steve's right there. They, like, dragged me out of the dirt, because the bull's still, like, it horned me up in the air and everything. And so Steve comes out and drags me out, and I stand there. He's like, you all right? I'm like, yeah. And I can feel, like, burning sensation down, in the personal region. And there's a big old hole in my pants. And I look at Steve and I go, hey, we're pretty close, He's the one that led me to Christ and married me and my wife and stuff like that. He's a great guy. And I looked at him and I said, hey, bud. He said, what? I said, is it still there? He said, yeah, you're good, bud, and slapped me on the butt.
What's funny is I have the exact same story, but it started out with a stripper in San Antonio. No.
Oh, I was like, hell yeah. Let's hear this.
You can turn it into the exact same story. Yeah. So there I was. I loaded in on her. Yeah. And you've been on them. You know how bad they get. Yeah. You know how wide they get.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. But yeah, I seemed smart at the time. Today, no.
Would you do it again? Have you been on a bull since?
No.
See,
2 in my lifetime.
That's it.
Learn my lesson.
That's more than most people.
I ain't trying to make it a career.
I know.
And I'd already established myself what I was doing. That's how I made my money, was with my fingers and,
Well, and that's the whole thing with roping. You need to stay away from that. We're going to start. We're doing some team roping coming up, but that's what my wife is afraid of. I'm like, well, listen, honey, I'm a stand-up. It's not like I got to pick the mic, But every good roper that I know
like I'm doing hand shadows on the wall or anything,
Well, what's funny is my father was missing half of the ring finger.
Yeah.
He was being chased by my Uncle Leon. He was married. They were horsing around. They're in their 20s. He jumped a cyclone fence, and the ring caught on it and pulled off at the big knuckle, pulled the finger off right there. So he spent his entire life with that thing gone. They couldn't salvage it. But he would tell us all, he'd go, I want you kids home at 9:30. That was his big joke. My dad was a damn prop comic. So your show, if you've never seen him, you got to find him at Aaron Copeland, COPELAND.
Remember the E.
.com. And because there's a composer,
famous composer, I've been battling with for forever. I just now got Google verified after being a solo artist for 10 years.
That's funny.
Finally got Google verified. Yeah. So I was like, man, maybe I should come up with a different name or something,
Names are difficult.
Yeah.
So Aaron Copeland is your name.
Yeah.
And
everybody calls me AC though. They're like, why don't you just go by that?
Well, anyway, hey, if you want to find Aaron, it's Aaron-Copeland.com. We're going to put a link on our website, reddirtcomedy.com. Make sure you join the Red Dirt Comedy Nation. And brother, this has been nothing but a pleasure.
Man, I want to do it again. There's so much I want to talk about.
It went by so fast. We'll have you back on here quite a bit. And you got tour dates coming up.
I do. I got a big one on Sunday.
Well, this isn't going to air. This probably.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like in Burleson, Texas, they got Kix Brooks coming for the flood victims.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we're opening up for Kix Brooks. I'm like, okay.
Well, we need to get you back on here and
Yeah, we'll
talk
talk
about
about it.
how
Absolutely.
all that was.
Absolutely.
For the rest of you, we love you. Make sure you go to reddirtcomedy.com and join the Red Dirt Comedy Nation. And don't forget, this is a movement that we're starting here.
Absolutely.
And I love you, and he loves you, and adios.
Thanks again for listening. For tour tickets and to join the Red Dirt Comedy Nation at reddirtcomedy.com. Till next time, adios, Red Dirt Nation.